right, so good to see everyone. It's an honor to be here. They saved the best for last, so thank you for sticking around. But I'm Dustin McCormick, and I'm running to be the next State House representative here in Cobb County. It's House District 45. Because like you, I want representation that reflects investments, priorities, and values that you want to see in the community. We've reached a critical point here in Cobb County, and if we do not act now, these values, they're at risk. But that is one of the many beautiful things about our community. I've seen the positive changes, both big and small, that have occurred with the shift in our demographics. We have the momentum now, more than ever, to be able to affect change, and now is the time to flip this seat. This district, it needs representation, and that has a big foundation of why I'm running. I believe that government is best when it is smallest and closest to the people. I believe in community first and showing compassion for my fellow neighbor. I believe in supporting our local economy. I will enact legislation that encourages job creation and attracting new businesses to Georgia to provide meaningful opportunities for our citizens. And finally, I believe in kindness, family, personal responsibility, and character. I'm a father, 2 young kids, 9 and 6, almost 7. He reminds me every day. I've been here in East Cobb going on 15 years. While I'm originally from Virginia, I moved to Georgia as a teenager. My parents were small business owners. My father, soon-to-be father-in-law, are military veterans. My grandfathers, they're military veterans. They served at Pearl Harbor in the South Pacific. They've instilled in me a sense of patriotism that continues to this day. Growing up in Virginia and near DC, and not only learning about our founding fathers, but being able to walk in their footsteps had a huge impact on me, and something I'm thrilled to share with my kids. Like you, I want to provide our children with better opportunities than I had. I believe that the quality of their education is key. We must continue to invest in our future and ensure that teachers have the funding to provide for and set up our children for success. So why now? The House of Representatives is calling my name. Come, step up, lead, to provide you with the transparent leadership that we have been lacking. I've reached out to Matt Dollar and Sharon Cooper many times while they've been in office to discuss issues and concerns. And probably like you, all I heard was crickets. All right? While our emails were they just sucked into a black hole? It's possible, but we may never know. But what we do know is that we've been crying out for leadership. But instead, what we've gotten over in East Cobb, we've gotten a poorly planned, rushed, woefully ignorant cityhood bill. Not surprisingly, it's been pushed through to be included on the May ballots, the primary coming up, where historically we have not seen a turnout from voters, especially Democratic voters. We must rally our fellow Democrats. We must see record turnout this May at the primary to protect our community. I realized that I could no longer play sideline politics. This is too close to home. This was my call to action. It is my time to raise my hand and say, hey, coach, put me in. I need to do something. I want to show the people of Cobb County and all of Georgia that I have what it takes to bring about positive change. We all long for this change and to make the better place for my family, my neighbors, my friends. Let's talk a little bit more about cityhood because this is a huge issue to East Cobb and to the district. This bill is being pushed through at record speed without as much as a speed bump along the way. It's been backed and lobbied by real estate investors, developers, kind of what they said earlier, skunks, who only see dollar signs. They want to create the city and then stack the city council with their real estate friends, and then when they propose their zoning changes, it gets rubber stamped and approved, and our district changes overnight. It's corruption at the core, and I won't allow a bunch of greedy, self-interest investors to gain power. The ignorance and blatant irresponsibility of the feasibility study, it's terrifying. The assumptions are not realistic, and the $3 million surplus, it just evaporated once all the costs are baked in. They had not planned for a city manager, a municipal judge. What about the retirement pension? The fire trucks, equipment, police cars, supplies? None of that's baked into the report. It was originally set to be voted for in November at the general midterm election. But with the opposition growing, the public became educated, and we collaborated, much like we did 2 years ago when the bill died. So what was the response by the people this go around, this time, who were supposed to represent us, our vote? What did the Republicans do once they caught wind of our plan to educate our neighbors, churches, small business owners, our HOAs? They moved the date from November to May to the lower turnout primary. I cannot stress how important and impactful this May is to ensure that we preserve our community, a community that I love, and I love to serve. I grew up being involved in the community, from cleaning up the local parks, to packing backpacks for underprivileged students, to writing letters to veterans, and helping local firefighters. My father and uncle, they're both firefighters, and so any given Saturday, you can see me out there washing the fire truck. My pay, once it was all shiny and clean, was to ride around the fire truck, ride around the town with the windows down, smiling ear to ear, waving to everybody. And they waved back. It was a small town. Everyone knew everyone. And occasionally, we would stop at a local ice cream parlor, and I'd run in and grab a cone. Just don't tell my mom, she still doesn't know about that. But I digress. The service bug, it really stuck with me, and I have been giving back to the community ever since. When I moved to this area 15 years ago, I joined Historic Roswell Kiwanis. I had the privilege of serving as the committee chair for the scholarships. And I handed out scholarships to well-deserving Key Club seniors. I mentored kids in math before and after school. This is before I had my own kids. I'm now a member of East Cobb Rotary. And on any given Sunday or Saturday or Friday or Tuesday, you can find me doing community events, picking up trash along Johnson Ferry, mailing boxes for our veterans overseas, amongst many other activities that our organization does for the community. And now that my kids are getting older, I'm bringing them along. I'm instilling the same amount of service and the value of service that I had as a kid growing up to them. So that's right. 2 or 3 weeks ago, my daughter and I went to Operation Mail Call, and that's for us to send care packages overseas to our veterans. And my daughter came along hesitantly, but at the end, Ed and Mary, the facilitators, they gave Audrey some candy. She was over the moon. She was so excited. Just this past week, we dropped our emails into the box, and just this past week we received a response from one of the service members over in Poland. He was so grateful. It was such a great message, so kind. I showed that to my daughter. I showed it to Audrey, and she thought that was so cool. She was more excited, and she saw the impact that this letter had. She was more excited about that than the candy. All right, so it was a great learning experience for her. And our community, it's ours. It's what we make of it, and it's only as good as we make it. So now, kind of what as Matt mentioned, I'm heading into a special election, a primary and a general, and I need your help. All right, we've got to motivate these voters, and we've got to get people to the polls. This seat is flippable, especially when we talk about the biggest issue right now, which is cityhood. You cannot go to the ballot, and you shouldn't go to the ballot and vote no to cityhood and then turn around and vote yes for the person who sponsored it, Sharon Cooper. People that vote no and then yes are voting against their own self-interest. You must vote no to cityhood and no to Sharon Cooper. If cityhood doesn't pass, as it shouldn't, it's largely opposed by the community. Republicans and Democrats alike, they've done surveys, 70-30, 60-40 on a good day. I don't want to see the same real estate investors, developers pushing versions 3 and 4 of cityhood. They won't stop. They won't until they get what they want. We've got to stop the problem at the root. Sharon Cooper is at the root. She's been a co-sponsor. She's got to go. Let's send her packing. Let's send her into retirement. Like I said before, we have reached a critical point here in Cobb County. And if we do not act now, we risk losing so much that we hold dear about our community. We have the momentum now, more than ever, to be able to affect change. And now is the time to flip this district and ensure that we have the right representation. Please follow me on Facebook, go to my webpage, dustinmccormick.com, vote for me, sponsor me, volunteer. I need your support. This seat's flippable. Together we can do it. Thank you. Any questions?